Goeienaand, good evening, and welcome to the first program in Real People. Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. You know what? There is one great truth about life, and that is that we have all lived a journey, have stories to share and experiences to reflect on. Some happy, some sad. This new project in loving life called Real People is your chance to share your life story with the world out there. For anyone who is listening, consider contacting me if you would like to share your life journey with a wider audience. I will just drop my email address into the side chat over here so that anyone can contact me. Give me a second. There we go. Right, now let's get on to tonight. Tonight we have something very, very exciting happening. Tonight I'll be having a fireside chat with Carene. I've known Carene for about a year. She is one of my earliest subscribers to the Loving Life channel, and we shared a live stream last year in which she discussed her work helping impoverished whites in the Cape Town region. A lot has happened in Carene's life since that time, as you will find out tonight. She'll be sharing her life experiences as well as her decision to leave South Africa and the challenges she faced when making the move. By request, Carene has asked not to go on camera. Welcome to Real People, Carene.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Great, thank you. Now, can you just start by discussing your life journey with us? Just give us a rundown on your life.
Well, I, along with many of your subscribers and listeners, equally as known or been more than aware of the violence that has been directed at the white minority, very specifically in South Africa.
Right.
So since 1994, it's become more than a newspaper clipping, and it's closer to home and to heart for most white South Africans. You know, various family members of mine have been directly affected by the extreme violence, which is the norm in SA. My cousin, for instance, was shot in front of his family, and his wife's parents had lived with him. They were both in their 70s. Were beaten in ways that an older person should never have suffered.
Carene, yes. Can I ask you to sit a little bit further away from your microphone?
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, sorry, carry on.
So these two old people were beaten to within an inch of their lives. And, you know, these things should not be happening at all. Another family member of ours, he had a farm just outside Nelspruit. He was shot and killed by armed attackers. Nothing was taken. I think a cell phone was taken. And you know, I don't want to rehash sort of all of these stories, but because I'm sure that everyone listening will have had equally horror stories of family members, friends, having endured attacks and injuries and killings. It is a ridiculous sort of state of affairs.
Yeah.
So my belief structure that surrounds that the so-called ANC government had taken, if they had taken a strong line on racial violence since 1994, then maybe a lot of lost lives and traumatization of victims would have been reduced and not have happened. My perspective really is that South Africa is a failed state, and the dreams of the Rainbow Nation have long gone, long gone.
Yeah.
If they ever were a reality. You know, as a mom, I've had my children subjected to attacks in separate instances. My daughter was attacked in Cape Town, walking to work. My sons have all been threatened with knives, their cell phones stolen, they've been pushed around, beaten. It's a ridiculous situation, and all they were doing was going to school, going to work.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is not what any parent envisages for their children. We just said to them, what do? You have hope and you have wishes for them to have a prosperous, happy life.
Yeah.
And this, unfortunately, is furthest from the truth and reality for every white parent in South Africa. And that's how strongly I feel about that.
Yeah.
You know, for instance, my son is just turned 21 and he's a qualified plumber. Can't find work because he's discriminated against because he's white. And even if by chance he would find a job in a B-compliant business, he's marginalized for his whiteness as blacks have preference.
Yeah.
It's an absolute travesty. It should not. We're the only country in the world that there's legislation for the majority against the minority. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
So, a number of years ago, I sort of started my journey of political activism. Having never before had any real interest in politics, just not I'm apolitical. I don't really care about politics.
Yeah. Carene? Carene?
Because, yes?
Can you move a little bit further away from your microphone?
Okay, is that better still?
Yeah.
Across the room.
We're getting a little bit of echo, so some people are saying it's hard to hear you, but just carry on with your journey, and if it's still, we'll sort it out, but just carry on talking, yeah?
Okay, is that better?
Yep, that's good.
Okay. So most of my people, we were too busy raising a family and doing roles that our parents and grandparents did before us. You know, just normal, everyday things in life.
Yeah.
Going to work, earning a living, doing what we're supposed to be doing. And so I didn't really, because you're involved and your life carries on, you don't really notice because it was so subversive and so slow, this degeneration of our environment, our infrastructure, everything that was happening.
Yeah.
It was so slow and insidious. Anyway, when these extreme violence and the killing in our family happened, I got involved in a grassroots organization which sort of highlighted the murders of our fathers. And this, I would say, was my light bulb moment. I remember when I was a girl, my grandmother, and she was this little fine-sized little bomb, but very smart. She would always tell me little snippets of quotes while she was cooking over our stove. Whipping yellow rice was my favorite. And she used to say to me, I have red hair and I used to be teased at school, and she used to say to me, you know what? From little acorns mighty oaks will grow.
Yeah.
And this was my hope for the involvement in helping and assisting a grassroots organization. This is
Yeah.
why I got involved.
Now, Carene, Raoul has said here, ask Carene if she is playing the feedback off her speakers. Is your audio on your computer turned down to 0?
Um, hang on, just let me check.
If you just turn the speaker volume down to 0, and that might be causing the little bit of echo we're getting.
Okay. What's that like?
That's good. Yeah, just keep a fair distance from the mic, because I think closeness is also causing the issue. Sorry, carry on, Carene.
Okay. So, is that better for you?
Yeah, that's much better, yeah.
Alright. So, as my fellow sisters in South Africa can agree, even around the dinner table, there are differences in opinion over issues, and it will always be like that. And this can be extrapolated in the wider community. So, microcosm to macrocosm.
Yeah.
So, as such, my involvement in this grassroots organization ceased, and I continued on my journey of self-awareness.
Right.
And the corruption of the ANC state government, and the more I looked into what has been happening to the white minorities in South Africa, the more pissed off I became. The more I learned, yeah. In fact, I felt like I've been blindfolded, like I was totally ignorant of the last 25 years of the screws that have been tightened on our people, the white minorities in South Africa. It was like we were all in this haze. And even now, I feel anxiety, sort of like a tightness in my stomach.
Yeah.
Thinking about why hasn't anyone of our so-called leaders of our people in South Africa done anything to stem the tide? Why has nothing been done? Why did we get to where we are now?
Mm.
Yeah. So if you ask our fellow whites who have lost their jobs, their housing, their livelihoods, and are living in white squatter camps or in hostels. Actually, they're not living, they're just merely existing. They will equally agree that the majority did not see this coming prior to 94. It really was only a relatively small percentage of South Africans of the time who envisaged the coming chaos. This actually should be no shock, as even today, still we are sitting with great numbers of white South Africans having the ostrich, or I call it the sheeple syndrome. We stick our heads in the sand and we believe that nothing is wrong. We need to appease our perpetrators. We need to be quiet. We need to toe the line.
Yeah.
And as we do that, the noose is tightening and tightening.
Now, don't you think a lot of South Africans still have their heads deep in the sand?
Yes. I deal with those people on a daily basis.
Right.
And when you talk to them, the response is, yes, but we still have a home here and life goes on and my child goes to school and my husband has a job and he's going to have his pension payout and I'm going, okay, do you understand that around you, your liberties, your freedom of speech, all of those things are slowly being taken away because each time that they say you're not allowed to say this because it's hate speech, but Malema can get up and he can say what he likes, that's a news title.
There's certainly double standards, aren't there?
Exactly. And what are we doing? We're stepping away from that and we're going, okay, this is just the way it is. What can I do?
Yeah.
That's the question I'm asked. And it sends me from 0 to 2,000 in like 2 seconds. Because we all have a voice. And it's how we use that voice that is important.
Yeah, having a voice is very important.
exactly. So, they say that to understand another person is to walk in their shoes.
Right.
And I hope that I can give your subscribers and viewers a few of those footsteps that I have had to walk in my journey today and to where I am now, because I just flatly refuse, 100% refuse, to
Yeah.
have my voice silenced. I will just not let it happen.
Yeah.
I won't. So, if anyone had said to me 3 years ago I would be living outside of South Africa, in a European country, being the principal of an NGO, non-government organization, and that totally for solution-driven agenda for my people, the white minorities in South Africa, I would have absolutely said you're talking nonsense. It's not on my agenda. I'm not a political animal.
Yeah.
But also, hindsight is a wonderful. It is a wonderful.
Okay.
So
Now,
I
what made you leave South Africa?
the decision to leave South Africa wasn't solely one thing. It was a
Carene,
combination
Carene,
of many things.
Carene,
Yes.
can you just get a little bit further away from your mic again?
Okay.
Because
Better?
yeah, just go keep going further back until I tell you to stop. Okay, talk again.
Okay. Better?
Bit further back.
Yes. Further back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's going to work now. Let's. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah. So what made you leave South Africa?
Okay. So it was a combination of many things. These things in isolation would seem pretty irrelevant, but when you put them into context, it was finally the straw that broke the camel's back, for me, so to speak. So I, along with my fellow sisters in South Africa, constantly worry about what's happening on a daily basis. It's really natural as a mom.
Yeah.
It's, we worry about our children and our family. So I got onto the social media platform, and there I found like a two-sided coin. I'm also not a bit technologically challenged. I don't like technology, but social media was a whole different story for me. So it could be either informative or toxic, which means a lot of people are self-promoters, pushing their own agenda, putting stuff out there that's not true, half true. Anyway, so I started to be informed and set out my own due diligence to filter information which I could take in and then filter to a wider network. And the more I filtered information, the more I was drawn to helping my people. As a result, I devoted a lot of energy and time to farm's aid, and I worked very closely with Patrick for a period of time. And then I then started really in earnest to collect and collate data, very specifically on farm leaders and what was happening to the marginalization of white minorities. That was my focus point. And I even started to look at the dynamics of AfriForum and Statelanders and questioning the effectiveness of how they are in the wider community and what they actually stand for. And my conclusion there is that it's apparent that on the international platform, they were seriously found wanting. And that's my personal opinion, and I have voiced it to them on a personal level also. So, and Dila from the VA, I was disgusted with that hate speech thing that she did. And I lodged a hate speech complaint with that, which was a mission in itself, which we all know when they sort of do the paperwork, if they ever get round to it, security is not so great. So my personal details I believe were accessed, and through that I had a personal threat against my life, specifically from Angola. So on two occasions I a little bit of running. I perpetrated jump over my 8-foot fence at my residential home.
Carene,
And I believe, yes.
could you just go through those two incidents you're talking about again, and just
Oh,
talk,
okay.
just talk a bit slow while you're talking? Because I think when you talk fast, it kind of compounds the echo.
Oh, okay. So, about 2 o'clock one morning, I had perpetrated jump over my 8-foot fence at my residential home. And I believe the only reason that nothing happened there was there were a lot of white males on the property, which averted an incident. Because they'd already searched cars and garage and, you know.
Mm.
And then about 10 minutes after they had jumped back over the fence and were down the street, that car cruised very slowly past our property, which was not the norm, because they just don't do drive-bys in Cape Town because they don't have enough vehicles. So
I've
I don't
heard.
believe,
I've
I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that cars drive slowly past their houses now. It's almost like they're staking out the area.
Exactly. And I also know of other women that I've met on social media and that are on WhatsApp groups, and they're very vocal, as I am, and they've had their properties invaded, and they live in secure complexes, and they've been terrified by the level of intrusion into their safe space, as you can imagine. So, through being involved on the social media platforms and being very outspoken, I, like others, were on the ANC state apparatus radar, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've just had a suggestion here, Carene, because we're still having people battling to hear what you're saying. Someone said, do you know how to turn the mic down so it's not so loud when you speak?
Yes.
Can you?
I have turned it down.
Can you turn it down a bit more? About 50%.
How's that now?
Still loud. Turn it down more.
And now?
Still loud. Turn it down more.
Now I can't hear you at all.
Oh no, that's the sound. I'm talking about your microphone.
My microphone?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second.
If you can try and turn that down about 50%. Not your not the audio.
Okay, how's that?
Have you?
Is that better?
Can you turn it down even more?
Now?
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. And just sit a distance from your computer again. Okay. Sorry,
Okay.
Carene. Okay. Carry on.
No, all good. Can you hear? Is that better now?
Yeah. And if you just talk slowly, because when you talk fast, your words kind of echo over each other. If I can put it that way.
All right. Is that better?
Yeah. Okay. Let's try that and see how we go.
Okay, cool.
So you're talking about the incidents that happened.
Yes. And that obviously was quite disturbing. But I do believe that it was because I had with myself, and I've taken a lot of flack about why did you do that.
Yeah.
If we are all quiet, then what? So here is a leader of a political party that can stand on a public platform and tell my people that they will come for us and kill all our men and our women and our pets.
Yeah.
And that is okay. No, it's not okay. So I am going to say it is not okay. And I took the route that any law-abiding citizen would take, and I laid a formal charge. And that is the way that we need to do that. So the flack that I got was, but you deliberately put yourself in harm's way. No, I didn't deliberately put myself in harm's way.
Yeah.
I reacted to something that just was abhorrent to me. But it is because we are quiet and we are pushed into a corner and forced to be silent that this can continue. And I refuse for that to happen. I will just not do that.
Right.
I just won't.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, the strategies you had to take when you left South Africa. Tell us about those.
Okay, so having been sort of back home in South Africa since '95, because I left abroad for a short period of time, I had to compact my last 24 years to 30 kilos of travel luggage. I donated a lot of my furnishings to those less fortunate of the white minorities in it. A few boxes that I have in storage that sort of will be shipped
Right.
when I can do that. Then sort of, given that I have South African ID and my status complaint address is compromised, I was lucky to have immediate family with which I could stay with for a period of time. I had to go and live with my brother because it wasn't safe for me to be where I was.
Yeah.
So,
tell us about the impact of leaving family and friends behind.
Well, you know, I felt suffocated at that point because with what I was doing, it was impacting everybody, everybody around me. So I was stressed all the time, but I just needed to do. Do you know when you know that this is something that you have to do?
Yeah, you just have you just have to get out, or you have to do something. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like breathing. I just can't be silent. I just won't be.
Yeah.
So for that period of time before I left, I stayed with my brother. I was lucky that I had a safe place that I could go to, and it it just it just created a sense of peace around me, so that I didn't need to worry about my immediate family being in my environment, and it was dangerous for them also. So when I was preparing to sort of leave South Africa, I was very lucky to have a very special gentleman and his wife reach out to me to offer this, and it was through you.
Right.
And they offered assistance for me to leave South Africa. They choose to remain anonymous, but I really would like to take this opportunity to thank them. So I'm going to say it in Afrikaans because it comes from my heart, so I hope you don't mind. Julle weet wie julle is, en vir altyd sal ek my belofte om ander te help nakom. I made a promise that when I am safe and I can keep doing what I'm doing, I will assist other people to get to safe.
Right.
So for me, the very real concern was going into the unknown, into a foreign country. Like, how would I live? Where would I live? What was it going to be like? I'm on my own at this point. So, and these are very real concerns. And I'm not 21 anymore. So you tend to think of all the potential scenarios rather than just buying a ticket and putting on a backpack and jetting off somewhere.
Yeah.
So, there was also an issue of the rand depreciating in value and reducing my living capacity you know, to where I'm going. And obviously with the rand tanking, it's even worse. So I was fortunate to be able to reach out to a wider network of like-minded friends, in which I narrowed down a country in Europe.
Yeah. Now,
And,
Carene,
yes,
have you got a wet towel?
a wet
A
towel.
small wet towel, or something like a kitchen cloth or something like that that you can just
Yes,
dampen.
I do.
Yeah, and just
What do you want to put it?
put it over the
Put it.
microphone and see if that actually helps. Just stop the echo.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, we're just trying another option here.
Okay. Is that better?
Okay, let's try it. Okay, so continue with your journey.
Is is that better? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's good. And just talk slowly, and
Oh,
so the words don't echo.
okay. So um, I a group of friends reached out, and we narrowed down the country in Europe, and we started planning around that. So as a result,
Yeah.
I was fortunate to be able to have what we refer to as soft landing, where you land in a foreign country and you're taken under the wing of others in the same predicament. And that's what it means with the transition, you know? So you're
Yeah.
not alone and sort of left to your own devices. So what we've decided and what we've done here is we have created a deflag program for people landing here to help them register. So
Right.
when they arrive here, we take them for a soft scrub and soak in a mineral spa. And it's amazing how good you feel after this process. It's like you scrub away all the stress that we carry from South Africa.
So what you're saying is that once you arrive in a country or a region like Europe, where you are, all the stress just falls off your shoulders.
Yes, it does. Because all of a sudden you realize that the way that we live in South Africa
Yeah. Now,
is ridiculous.
now, Carene, do you have a headset or just the microphone or the computer?
I can get a headset. Will
Ca
that be better?
yeah. Can you get the headset, please, for me? Try that.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I don't know why this is so bad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
Let me just grab it quick.
Yeah, sure. Guys, if the headset works a whole lot better, what I might do is just start this interview again. I know a lot of it has been lost, and I apologize for that, but when we did a test earlier, it was so much better. It's just one of the quirky things with the internet.
Okay, I'm going to just keep this following.
So, what's happening in the side chat here? Let's have a look. Oh, it's good to see all my friends here. We are a family, aren't we?
Okay, guys, I'm just getting my.
Cameron Kim, is that the one who's causing trouble, guys?
Okay, Scott, can you hear me better
Um,
now?
yeah, hang on, I've just got a hide user from channel. Okay. Alright, Cameron Kim has gone from the channel, guys. There you go. Hi, Philippe. Good to see you here. Okay, are you on mic now, Carene?
Yes, is that better?
Okay.
Is that better?
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Is that better?
Let's okay. Just continue with your journey, and we'll just see how it goes.
Okay. Alright. Is there still a lot of feedback? Yes? Is that better?
Yeah, let's just try it. See how we go.
Okay. Anyway, so I was sort of busy with telling you about the salt squash and the protein in the mineral salt. So
Right.
we've developed this little process that we take the newbies through. So we call it pay it forward. So each newbie that arrives will get the same treatment by the person that preceded them. So we feel that this sort of creates a sense of community,
Right.
and that we because we understand where South Africans come from and how saturated in violence we are. Um, we we take them through this process, and you literally see somebody change
Yeah.
as they settle into just okay, I'm okay, I'm safe. You know?
Yeah.
Yes. So one of the big things for me before I left was actually getting self and police clearance, which was a whole different scenario. And luckily my passport and everything was sorted, so that wasn't an issue.
Right.
Yeah. So um, for the first time, I feel safe. I can walk down the road in any part of the city at any time, day or night, and not worry about my safety. Whether I may be robbed, raped, attacked, killed for a few rands of sulfur. Um, it's just not on my radar. I don't feel that at all.
Yeah.
And and this is the most noticeable difference. That 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 real sense of violence around you is gone. You know?
So
And that's how I feel.
what you're saying is that when you're in South Africa, you're stressed out all the time. You had to look over your shoulder. You had to be careful where you went and what you did and what you carried because they might steal it off you. But once you
Yes,
went to Europe, you could relax and you could go and walk down the road without looking over your shoulder. And
exactly.
it's basically changed your whole life, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
At night, I can sleep with my windows open, which I do. There's no
You sleep
security bar.
You sleep with the window open. Wow.
Absolutely. I have no security bars.
Mm.
I don't live in a gated community. It's just so so safe. My sense of freedom and safety is quite overwhelming at some point. I suffered with anxiety and sleep disorders. And now I understand that it wasn't a medical issue, but an environmental issue. I lived on sleeping tablets and anti-anxiety medication, which I took every day.
Wow. So you lived on sleeping tablets?
Yes, yes. For more than a year, I took sleeping tablets every day, and then I was up at 3 o'clock. So through the sleeping tablets, I would sleep maybe 2.5 to 3 hours a night.
That's shocking.
Yes. Yes.
Do you feel that you actually had PTSD, or you've suffered from PTSD as a result of what happened in South Africa since 1994?
For sure. I could never switch off. I lived in that heightened state of what And especially with what I was doing, um, all the research that I was doing and being outspoken, um, that obviously added to it.
Yeah.
But fear and anxiety are the norm for most South Africans.
Yeah.
It's the norm. And only when you are extracted from that environment do you realize
What she lived in.
that exactly.
Yeah.
So since I moved to another country, I found myself no longer suffering from anxiety. I see through it. And when you haven't been able to do that for a year, 2 years, because now you see surprised, you're tired, you're stressed, you're
Yeah.
surprised, all this stuff. You don't realize how that compounds. I honestly believe that most South Africans suffer from disease. I mean, we just don't.
I'm sure they do. I think that it's quite amazing because I've got a lot of friends in South Africa who for years have said to me, oh no, everything's right, everything's cool. And now all of a sudden they're saying, whoa, this is not right. It's like that boiling water syndrome with the frog. They're saying, whoa, the water's getting really hot in here. And,
Exactly.
they're now thinking about getting out. And one of the dilemmas that people have when they consider leaving is that they've got family and friends there and they hate to leave them behind. And, there's this horrible, it's like a divorce. It's like breaking off and leaving all your friends behind. And that is such a hard thing to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And because we understand that we are creating viable solutions,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping to be able to bring that to the table as a viable option.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at.
Now, tell me, the cost of actually moving. I mean, a lot of people say, wow, it costs so much money to migrate to another country. What is the most effective way to actually migrate from South Africa if you haven't got a lot of money?
Okay. So I'm I'm going to sort of answer this very sensitively because um, we are it is very expensive, and depending on where you're going to want to end up, it could be prohibitively expensive, and for most people it is, and that's why most people are stuck in South Africa.
Yeah.
Um, but there are viable options that are now being addressed. And I sort of, when we get to the reflections and comparisons that I have with South Africa, I can answer that
Okay.
better
Okay.
and more comprehensively.
All right.
Because it's under a framework that we're looking at and setting up at this point.
Okay. Now,
So,
yeah. Sorry. Carry on, Carene.
no, it's okay. Carry on.
Okay. So, tell us about your reflections and comparisons to South Africa when you're talking about Europe.
Okay, so I'd like to sort of answer that in three parts.
Right.
The first part is that on a personal level, and having been involved with individuals aware of many groups, and there's a lot of NATO, what we refer to as NATO, no action talk only. I
Right.
found so many self-promoters were nothing more than empty vessels. So that is promised stuff that could never materialize. And there's a lot of that going on in very many cases. And these people charge fees, and at the end of the day, nothing happens.
So what you're saying there is that a lot of people you've met talked a lot but did nothing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I was introduced to some third parties, which at the time I thought stood for white minorities in South Africa. And what I found was that they just wanted to leverage my contact for people. And so that was another light bulb moment for me, because then you sort of become aware that there are so many people out there, so-called advocating the plight of the white minorities in South Africa.
Right.
And they have their own agenda. So you become very, very wary. You know, some of these people sit safely abroad and they advocate civil war in South Africa.
Right.
That's a ridiculous situation. You know, I have a huge issue with this type of rhetoric, because even though this corrupt ANC government, it is still acknowledged as the legal government of South Africa by the international community.
That's right, yeah.
And if we mobilize on a military level, we will be vilified on the international stage. And you know, when you truly do the numbers, the military, even though they are as bad as they are, the state army and police force, they still have the numbers. If we just look at the numbers.
Yeah.
So
Can I just summarize what you said there, for those who didn't catch through the audio? What Carene is saying is that you know, people who advocate civil war in South Africa are doing everybody a great disservice, because the international community recognize the South African government as the legal government, and if the whites mobilize on a military level, they will be vilified on the international stage. And she says the only way we can make any difference is to take the ANC to task via international bodies and create solution-based outcomes for our people. Is that correct, Carene?
Absolutely 100% correct.
Okay.
Absolutely 100% correct.
All right, carry on, yeah.
So, I look at a problem and then I need to find a solution. So I am totally driven by a solution-based agenda.
Right.
With very, very real, tangible end results.
Right.
So as a result, sort of just by chance, I was sent a comprehensive filing from the regional author, which had been promoted by the self-promoters, and he sort of reached out.
Right.
And I started very intensively looking at that as a solution for the white minority of South Africa.
Right.
So the second part is that, having been faced with events on my very personal journey and leaving South Africa, I have thought of strategies to assist other like-minded South Africans to be able to relocate on a scale that hasn't been done since the 1940s.
Okay, can I just summarize what you said there for those who couldn't hear? The second part of Carene's strategy is as a result of her very personal journey and having left South Africa herself. She's now working on strategies to assist other like-minded South Africans and their families, who she calls my folk, to be able to relocate on a scale that hasn't been done before or since the 1940s. Is that correct, Carene?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, continue on.
Okay, so what's really important here is that it has to be done in the most strategic manner possible, with the buy-in of respective governments. You know, we can't just arrive on in a country and say, okay, we're invading.
Yeah.
So we need, because it will create huge problems. for the next group of people that need a safe place.
Okay,
So we need to do this.
I'll just summarize what you said there. What Carene said is that we have to be very careful how the move of people from South Africa takes place, because if it's done wrong and it's seen as like a mass invasion into, let's say, Europe, it will create a huge problem for the next group of people that need to find a safe place. Is that correct, Carene?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what we've come up with, we started to form a strategic plan from a grassroots level within South Africa, and I've had numerous alignments and commitments and undertakings, and these people are the silent heroes in supporting the second part of my planning strategy.
Okay, let me just summarize that. What Carene is saying is that she started to form a strategic platform for a grassroots level within South Africa and has had numerous alignments and commitments and undertakings. And she says, these people are the silent heroes in supporting the second part of my planning strategy. Is that correct, Carene?
That's correct, because these are the people that have committed to fund and to crowdfund. Literally, it is out of my housekeeping money or a cup of coffee that I'm not going to have today. I'd rather give that to the NGO.
Right.
It literally is that, because I cannot fund this forever on my own, because at this point everything that has sort of happened around the NGO has been self-funded.
Right.
Alright, so the final and the third part, when it was the formation of the NGO, it's called National X 1792.
So it's called National X 1792.
Yes, that's it.
And that's the NGO or non-government organization.
Correct.
Okay.
And that has been registered in Europe.
Yeah.
And has the sole goal and mandate to provide a solution-based agenda rather than problem-based for fellow white minorities in South Africa.
That makes a lot of sense. I'll just summarize what you said there. What Carene said is that the third and final part of this project that she's involved in is the formation of an NGO which has been registered in Europe and has the sole goal and mandate to provide a solution-based agenda rather than problem-based for fellow white minorities in South Africa. I think that's pretty well what you said, isn't it?
It is correct.
Okay.
So
Carry on.
I am the principal of this NGO.
Right.
And it stands on its own as with a mandate to be able to drive whatever we need to happen.
Right.
Okay. So I also realized that I had to get international assistance.
Right.
And I reached out to the human rights defenders, to Russell Berry. You had him on last week or week before, I'm not sure. And he was contracted to the NGO.
Oh, that's fantastic news. So what you're saying is that fellow I had on the live stream, I think it was last week, Hirooka, from Juris Gasberry, is actually now supporting the NGO on a legal perspective.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So the first arm is the solution-based agenda for white minorities in South Africa.
Yeah.
That's our first point. The second arm of the NGO, that we consistently keep a finger on the political pulse of South Africa, and we will keep taking the corrupt ANC down.
Okay, now can I just add to that? As my subscribers know, Hirooka, who's involved in this NGO, is very, very active in pushing the message out there to the International Criminal Court and other bodies of the corruption that's going on in South Africa. And that is basically the second arm of what the NGO is involved in. Is that right, Carene?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we run on 2 levels. So the NGO, which I'm the principal, has the goal of providing real-world solutions to white minorities in South Africa that wish to immigrate from South Africa. So that is our one arm. And then the other arm is to keep putting pressure on the ANC and keep taking them to task about everything when they step out of line, which is consistently most of the time at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, just if I can just summarize what you said there, what Carene said is the NGO, which she is the principal of, has the goal of providing real-world solutions to white minorities in South Africa that wish to emigrate from South Africa. And I've heard directly from Hiroka there's some pretty exciting news in the wings. Do you want to talk about that?
Okay, so we at the moment have identified 8 European countries, of which we are active in establishing dialogue and the diverse topics of immigration pieces and eventually putting into place a one-stop shop for white minorities that seek to relocate.
Okay, so that's very important. Let me just repeat that just so that people get that clear. As such, the NGO that Carene heads has currently identified 8 European countries which are active in establishing dialogue with such diverse topics as immigration, visas, and eventually putting into place a one-stop shop for white minorities that seek to relocate. So what Carene is saying is that this NGO that she is heading up, with the assistance of Hiroka, has identified 8 European countries where they're trying to set up and facilitate the migration aspect. Is that correct, Carene?
That is correct.
Okay.
In fact, just in the last couple of days, a country and a very prominent person in a country has reached out to us.
Right.
And has asked for representation and envoys from South Africa to actually go and have a chat. And we're not talking about sort of grassroots level person. We are talking about a serious head of state, that level of person that we're dealing with right now. So that sort of just come onto the radar the last couple of days. So we are dealing with that. So we're equally excited that over the next sort of 6 months, about 10 families will be relocating, and we're dealing with them at the moment.
Okay, let me just repeat that. So what Carene is saying here is that exciting things are happening because they have confirmed a total of 10 families and 5 individuals over the next 6 months who will be integrated into one European country. Now, are those families and individuals, are they already locked away and ready to go, or is this you actually seeking 10 families to be part of this?
No. These are people that are
they're ready locked in.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now,
yes.
could others potentially join this in the next 6 months?
Yes. They need to just go by you if you don't mind, and if you can just forward all of that information to me, I'd be grateful. And you will be kept up to date with exactly what's happening on the NGO level.
Fantastic.
So
So what Carene is saying is that Loving Life channel will be kept totally up to date with what's going on in this project. And what about the age aspect, Carene? Is there like an age limit? A lot of people say, hey, I'm over 60 and I can't leave South Africa.
So it's one of those things that we are addressing, that we will be able to bypass.
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
Which is really important at this point, because what you said earlier on is very valid, that a lot of people are so scared to leave their aged family members behind.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we do, because we understand. So, we currently opening doors on so many levels, both local, provincial and federal government level. And our long-term goal is to enable a lot of fellow white minorities to relocate and establish communities throughout these countries that we have identified, with less hurdles and obstacles than is currently faced by white minorities in South Africa. Because it is a nightmare to get out of South Africa into another country.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that to the people listening. What Carene is saying is that through the NGO, doors have been opened at many levels, in other words, local, provincial and federal governments level, and the long-term goal of the NGO is to enable a lot of fellow white minorities to relocate and establish communities throughout these countries. There are 8 countries that they've identified, with less hurdles and obstacles than is currently facing white minorities in South Africa at present. Is that correct, Carene?
Absolutely.
Now, just on that point, what sort of timeline are we looking at here? I mean, how close is it before this can actually be activated?
I pretty much work round the clock to sort of get this. There are certain things that need to happen. You can't push government to adhere to your timeline. So I would like everything to have been done yesterday.
Yeah.
But we work within that schedule. But what had happened the last couple of days was with this group reaching out to us. This is real time, and we're talking about a huge number of people that we have the possibility of relocating.
That's fantastic. Can I just repeat what you said there?
Sure.
What Carene said is that because of the program they're involved in, there's the potential for moving a huge number of people from South Africa in the future. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So the thing that I just also need to address, when South Africans leave there, we need to come into our new communities with an open mind and understand that we need to integrate into a new society. We need to have that willing spirit. We need to have that willing mind to be able to integrate. And you're going to have to learn a new language, maybe.
Yeah.
But what you're going to be bringing with you is your life and safety of your family, and that your children have prospects of actually creating a life of their own. So it's really important, because that's the other side of the coin that I find, that we tend to want to have our own way, and what I'm saying is that you need to have the willing spirit and the willingness to integrate into your host community and create a viable life within that community. and reach out to them as they're reaching out to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Now, I'll just summarize what you said there, Carene, because some people can't hear you clearly. What Carene said is that people who leave South Africa and move into a European country, they've got to understand that they're going to have to make compromises. The huge benefit they're going to get is they're going to leave that toxic situation in South Africa. They're going to move into a far more relaxed lifestyle. But the compromise is that they're going to have to work with or sort of fit in with the current group of people that they're moving into, that society. Is that correct, Carene?
yeah,
Okay.
that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
Because we need to.
Sorry,
we need
it's
to
Bonzo.
That's all good. We need to understand that we are going into a host country that has had the grace to open their doors for us.
Yeah.
And we need to reciprocate. And we do, because we're that type of people. So
South Africans are very hard workers. They're very innovative. There would be a benefit to any society, and I think what you and Hiraoka are doing is quite fantastic, because it's really cutting to the chase and getting the support of these countries at a level where things can be done, and not the BS that tends to involve a lot of migration.
absolutely. So this will be an ongoing process. It's not going to be in the next couple of months. I can extract 500,000 people out of South Africa. It's a ridiculous situation. There's no way that anybody could do that.
Yeah.
But this is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
And if there is interest from people, please understand that we will keep you up to date. There is a dormant project that I have just taken over.
Yeah.
So we are tweaking that at this point, so that it's sort of beneficial to work with us, because it's sort of like it's just a project that can run hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we've taken that over, and it will be beneficial for both projects. And so at this point, that pretty much is what we are up to. I can only express my gratitude to you, because I am sitting where I'm sitting at this point, largely due to my interview that I had with you, and then I call them earth angels, because that's what they are. Those two people that reached out and said, we will make it possible for you to leave South Africa, and they did. I will forever be grateful to them. And then to my partner, Hiraoka is an absolutely amazing man with amazing brilliance.
Yeah.
And he is a hectic taskmaster. The amount of emails that fly between us on a daily basis is quite incredible.
Yeah.
So he is also my inspiration to do what I do. And when I get down and I'm tired or whatever, there's no time for this stuff. You can get up and let's get working. That's what he does.
Now, Carene,
yes.
from speaking to you before, I think the NGO is currently having a website built by South Africans for South Africans. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now, if people who are listening want to reach out and contact you, Do you have a NGO email address or something like that they can contact you through?
Yes, we do. I will just put that on. Just let me figure out how to put it on here for you.
Can you put it in Skype for me?
Actually, but you should have it.
Yeah, but if you just type it into Skype and then I'll cut and paste it into the side chat.
Okay, I will do that for you. I have one second.
Okay, just while you're doing that, I'll just explain to the people following exactly what's happening. Basically, Carene, who is supported by Hirooka, who we know, he's the human rights lawyer, and they have set up an NGO which is going to be aimed at helping white communities or white South Africans, families of all ages, move from South Africa into Europe. And they're talking to 8 countries at the moment. They've got a website being built. There's a lot of stuff happening there. And, if you want to learn more about it, and I do apologize about the audio, it's just one of those quirky things of the internet. I've tried to cover the most important part, which is this NGO, which I think is very exciting. But once I get the other way, I've got it. Okay, so I'm going to.
Have you got it?
Yes, I've got it. Let's see. Okay, so it's. Sorry, I'm just going to zoom in on this. My eyes aren't that good. Nation AUX. Okay, so I'm going to type in the email address so you can contact the NGO. Nation AUX 1792 at Nation AUX 1792 AOL.com. Okay. AOL.com. All right. So if anyone wants to contact Carene about this project, which I think is fantastic because you've got them going the right way around it, that's the email address to take.
Yes.
And do you know what the website domain name is called, Carene? Or I guess we can just talk about that when it's actually happening.
Yes.
Okay.
It will also be Nation X 1792, and it will the website will deal with both the NGO and the human rights defenders arm.
Right.
So everything that we are doing will be there to go and look at. So our information will be available.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the side chat, if you want to ask Carene any questions, please go ahead, and I will read those questions out to Carene, and we'll see how we go with the audio there. Just takes a couple of minutes for the people to respond to the request, Carene.
It's all good.
So now, what's in the future for you apart from the NGO? What are your plans?
I think that this has become my life mission.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I mean, how do I stop this?
Yeah. Once you started, you're stuck with it.
Absolutely.
I know the feeling. Believe me, with the Loving Life channel. Even Bonsai agrees.
So I think that this will be my life.
Yeah.
And it sort of just fell into my lap. It wasn't something that I planned for at all.
Now,
they came along and hit me upside the head.
Yeah. Now, Jonathan's asked, what are the country options for migration or immigration?
Okay, so these countries that we have identified, I'm not going to name them for you at this point
Right.
because we do these with negotiation.
Yeah.
What we have found in many of these countries, that there's sort of depopulation of large areas. Youngsters want to be in big cities and stuff.
Yeah.
So in the depopulation of these areas or little towns and things, that there's literally like loads and loads of ghost towns. And there is so much scope for entrepreneurial people to go and set up businesses, and this influx of new blood and new business ideas and all of this, it's just right for that, you know?
Now, what Carene has just been saying, and the same thing is happening here in Australia as well, and I think it's happening pretty well in America and a whole lot of other areas. What she's saying is the Generation X and the younger people who live in the rural areas are leaving the rural areas and moving to the cities. And a lot of these towns in Europe are becoming ghost towns. And these are the areas that, are perfect for a white South African community to come into and establish themselves and rebuild that community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Now, any other questions that people would like to ask? I can see there's one. Okay, let's scroll down. Yeah, Sunday night we're going to be talking to King Resettlement Program, and I've just confirmed that with Vanessa yesterday, and that'll be all about asylum, going to the USA. It's going to be an interesting chat. And Sue has asked, what is the website? Is it going to be called by the name of the project or the NGO?
Yes.
Okay. And any ideas when that'll be out?
About 4 to 6 weeks. Round about then, yes. Give me 6 weeks.
So about 6 weeks from now.
Yes. So let's look at end of July.
Okay. Well, you'll have to let me know when it comes out so I can publicize it for you to the channel.
Oh, thanks, Scott. That would be great. I will absolutely let you know. Just a short sort of aside on what you said about what's happening in America. We are very actively decided that we're not looking at an asylum scenario in what we're doing.
Yeah.
We are looking to create an environment where what we're going to the table with is a very, very strong case of here are entrepreneurial people that bring a really strong skill set that will benefit your country.
Right.
That's how we approach it.
So they would actually get a proper visa from that country.
Yes.
Okay, and they would be permanent residency.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're not doing the cap in hand thing at all. We're going in with a very, very strong case.
Yeah.
Of we are bringing something viable to this table.
Yeah. Now, Michaela says, Carene, thank you for everything you are doing for us Saffers. Don't you love that word, Saffers?
I am one myself, so it's what I need to do.
Yeah.
But thank you.
All right, guys, are there any other questions you'd like to ask? What I'll do is I'll actually put the contact email address below this video once it's actually processed on YouTube, so that if your friends are considering going to Europe, I would say that what Carene and Hiraoka are doing is probably a very good place to start, because they are ex-Saffers, and they have done the journey, and they are now settled in Europe, and as Carene says, their lives are 1,000,000% better. All that stress has just dropped off them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sue asks, when do you actually sleep, Scott?
Yes, when do you sleep, Scott?
Well, I must tell you, I've been up since 1:30 this morning, preparing for this live stream. So I go to bed very early. I'm in bed normally about 6 p.m. at night, because I'm basically living South African time, if I can put it that way.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Yes, of course you are.
Now,
Yes.
Alex asks, hi Carene, would the UK accept me back? I worked in the UK between 2002 and 2007 as a qualified motor vehicle technician. Came back to South Africa. I'm now 41 and married a qualified school teacher who's 26.
I'm not an immigration specialist, so I actually cannot answer that question. That would depend on whether you got residency or whether you got citizenship, whether a lot of stuff. What I do know, with friends of personal friends of mine, the husband has a British passport and he is having a hell of a time getting his wife in. And
Wow.
they've been married for like 30 years.
What?
So,
is that a fact?
yeah, yeah.
And that's from South Africa?
Yes.
I'll just repeat that to you, Alex. Carene just said a friend of hers, the fellow, has got a British passport, and he's been married for 30 years, and they've been living in South Africa. He can get into the UK, but he's having a heck of a time trying to get her to get residency in the UK, even though they've been married for 30 years. That's crazy. Now, with a qualified school teacher, I can tell you now, Alex, that there are two countries that basically could be a very good prospect for you. New Zealand is crying out for qualified school teachers, and New Zealand is one of the nicest countries in the world to live in. So definitely check out New Zealand. All you have to do is Google employment, teaching, New Zealand or something like that, and you'll find all these different websites coming up, and you'll very quickly track down the situation there. So you could probably get into New Zealand through your wife as a qualified school teacher. The other option for general South Africans who are school teachers is also Thailand. And I believe in Thailand they are desperately seeking English teachers. So if you have a good hold of English, you basically can buy your way very quickly into Thailand. And apparently there's quite a big South African population living in Thailand now.
Yes.
Okay, now any further questions people would like to ask? Okay, guys, look, I'm going to wrap up the live stream shortly. If you do want to ask a question, please do so now. But Carene, I just want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us. I know a lot of it was a bit hard to hear, but that's the vagaries of the internet. I think your main message about the NGO certainly got out there. I think people have a good feel for where you're going, and we'll certainly as a channel be supporting your work and Hiraoka's work where and how we can, because it's very, very important that we be your mouthpiece for you.
Thank you so much, Scott. Thank you for having me on yet again. And yes, I just feel at this point that if we can become supportive of one another with South Africans, this is where we will where we will have our victory,
Yeah.
that we stand together. Because that's really the one thing that I'm finding lacking in
Yeah.
South Africans at this point.
Now, what
That, that yeah.
what is your message to South Africans? I mean, as someone who's actually left the country and is now settled into Europe.
My message at this point, um, everybody has to make choices and decisions for themselves. I don't feel that anybody can force anybody else to do anything or say anything or behave in any way. But what I'm finding at this point is the lack of leadership is totally overwhelming.
Yeah.
Um, there is no one group that will reach out to another group and say, can we run one narrative, please? We don't need to agree on everything, but
Yeah.
can we run the one narrative? And the narrative, as the narrative in the 80s was apartheid by the mainstream media. The one narrative, and I'm probably going to be self for this, but I'm going to say it anyway because that's where I'm at. White genocide is happening, it's real.
Mm.
It's happening.
Yeah.
And when we can get under that umbrella and say to the international community, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
But we don't. We have AfriForum running there, and we have State Councils running there, and we have this running there, and we have that running there. Nobody is cohesive in their approach. Nobody.
Yeah.
We all tap dancing around this term that we have now been told that if we use that, we are going to be punished. Well, if you take the UN mandate about genocide, it is exact. It's copy paste. It's happening in South Africa.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly extreme persecution. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And then when you look what's happening with the murders all over the country, it's just crazy.
Exactly. So we don't run the same narrative.
Yeah.
We all in our little groups want to do that old saying, man manarian. We all want to do our own little thing.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I mean, all these groups, we speak to so many groups. Dwayne, who's here, Boer and Brewer, he has spoken to so many groups, and they're trying to get them to work under one umbrella is like,
yes.
It's so hard.
It's near impossible.
Yeah.
It's near impossible.
Now,
so
Ian has asked.
That's the big thing for me.
Yeah.
It's about that cohesiveness.
Yeah. Now, Ian has asked, how is crime over there?
Well, it is now 11:30. So
yeah.
Where I am, and I will now walk out my front door, leave it open, and walk down the road to the shop, and I will be just 100% fine.
Okay, I guess that answers your question, Ian. What Carene said there is it's 11:30 at night, and excuse Bonsai, the old fart's getting restless. She says that it's 11:30 in the evening there, so it's half an hour before midnight, and she's on her own in the house, and she's going to walk out the front door, down the road to the shops, buy some stuff, and then come back to her house. and she has absolutely nothing to worry about. I guess that kind of answers the question. And I can relate to that. I could do that here in Australia. I mean, I could just walk out my house at any time of the day or night, and I'm not going to face any issues.
Absolutely, and it's exactly how this is my new norm, which is amazing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Look, I hope you enjoyed our first Real People interview with Carene. I do apologize for the audio. It's nothing we could do about that. Carene, thank you so much for sharing with us, and it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you again. And I'm really looking forward to working with you and Hiraoka in the future with the projects that you're working on.
Thank you so much, Scott, and to everybody else that stayed up and listened, and to all the subscribers. Thank you very, very much for taking the time out to come and listen. And if anybody needs assistance, information, can maybe lend a hand with some fundraising, whatever, please reach out to me. I will get back to you personally as soon as I possibly can.
All right, fantastic. Okay, guys, thank you all in the side chat and those who are listening. Have a great evening, and next Wednesday I have got someone lined up for the Real People. But if you would like to participate and tell your story in Real People, please just send me an email. And if you could just in the title just say Real People, because I get hundreds of emails, and that way I can identify them and we can have a conversation about when we can get you into the program. All right, guys, Philippe, lovely to see you here. All right, I'm signing off. Take care, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night, all.